Hello everyone and welcome back to OMS Masterclass. First of all, thank you for watching episode 1. I truly hope it helped you understand what an order management system is and why every modern retailer depends on it. In our first episode, we built the foundation. We learned the purpose of an OMS and where it fits in the complete retail ecosystem. Today, we are taking the next step. Instead of learning what an OMS is, we are going to understand how an OMS thinks, because that's what makes an OMS so powerful. Whenever a customer places an order, the OMS doesn't simply pass it to a warehouse. It starts thinking, it analyzes different possibilities, it compares multiple options, and finally, it makes the best possible business decision. By the end of the session, you will no longer look at an order the way a customer does. You will start looking at it the way an OMS does. So let's begin. Before we jump into today's topic, let's quickly revisit the flow we learned in episode 1. We already know that when a customer places an order, it reaches the order management system or OMS. The OMS then gathers information from different systems such as inventory, payment, and warehouse before making any decision. I'm showing this flow again because we will continue using it throughout the upcoming episodes. Starting from the next slide, we will understand each step using simple business scenarios and real world examples. So let's begin. Now let's understand what really happens after a customer places an order. From the customer's point of view, it's just one click on the place order button, and within a few seconds the order is confirmed. But inside the OMS, the real work has only just begun. Before releasing the order for fulfillment, the OMS starts evaluating multiple business decisions. First, it decides which warehouse should fulfill the order. The nearest warehouse is not always the best choice. Next, it verifies whether the required inventory is actually available at the selected location. It then checks whether the retailer can still meet the promised delivery date without violating the customer's expectations. Finally, it determines the best fulfillment strategy, whether the order should be shipped from a single location or split across multiple locations, depending on the retailer's business rules. All these decisions happen automatically within just a few seconds, long before the warehouse starts processing the order. In the next few slides, instead of discussing these decisions theoretically, let's understand them through a real business example. Now, let's understand how an OMS thinks through a simple real world examples. Meet Arya. Arya lives in Hyderabad and wants to buy a pair of running shoes from an online store. He finds the product, places the order, and while checking out, the website promises delivery by tomorrow. From Arya's perspective, everything is complete. He has paid for the order and expects it to arrive the next day. But for the OMS, this is where the real decision making begins. The OMS cannot simply forward the order to a warehouse because a delivery promise has already been made to the customer. It must first determine whether that promise can actually be fulfilled while following the retailer's business rules. So before taking any action, the OMS starts validating the order. Let's see what happens next. Arya's order has now reached the OMS. Even though the customer has placed the order successfully, the OMS doesn't immediately send it to the warehouse. The first step is always validation. The OMS verifies whether the order has all the information required for fulfillment. For example, it checks whether the order details are complete, the customer information is available, the shipping address is valid, and the payment has been successfully authorized. It also validates whether the ordered product exists in the retailer's catalog and whether the order complies with the retailer's business rules. If any mandatory validation fails, the OMS can place the order on hold or send it for further review instead of forwarding it for fulfillment. Only after all validations are successfully completed does the OMS move to the next stage of decision making. And the next question is one of the most important ones. Do we actually have inventory to fulfill Arya's order? Arya's order has now passed all the required validations. The next step for the OMS is to check whether the product is actually available for fulfillment. In our example, the OMS finds that the running shoes are available in two different warehouses. At this point, you might think the OMS will simply choose the nearest warehouse, but that's not always how it works. The OMS first confirms that the inventory is available and reserved for this order. Only then does it consider other factors like delivery commitment, warehouse capacity, and business rules. If the preferred warehouse does not have sufficient inventory, the OMS immediately looks for the next best fulfillment location. In short, without inventory, there is no fulfillment. That's why inventory available is always one of the first and most important checks performed by the OMS. Now that we have identified the possible fulfillment locations, the next question is like, which warehouse should actually fulfill Arya's order? At this stage, the OMS has confirmed that both warehouse A and warehouse B have the required inventory. So is the decision complete? Not yet. The OMS now checks another important factor, the promise made to the customer. Do you guys remember when Arya placed the order, the website displayed an expected delivery date of tomorrow? This is not just an estimated date, it's a commitment made by the retailer. Now let's assume warehouse A is closer to Arya's location, but because of its current workload, it can deliver only after 2 days. Warehouse B is slightly farther away, but it has enough processing capacity to deliver the order by tomorrow. In this situation, the OMS does not simply choose the nearest warehouse. It chooses the warehouse that can fulfill the customer's promise. Because delivering on time builds customer trust, improves satisfaction, and reduces complaints. This shows us an important principle of order management. The best warehouse isn't always the nearest one. It's the one that can meet the promised delivery commitment. So far, we have seen that the OMS validates the order, checks inventory, and ensures the customer's promised delivery date can be met. Now let's look at another business scenario. Imagine that both warehouse A and warehouse B have inventory and both are capable of delivering Arya's order by tomorrow. At this point, the customer experience will be the same regardless of which warehouse is selected. So how does the OMS make the final decision? This is where business cost optimization comes into the picture. Let's assume shipping the order from warehouse A costs 350 while shipping the same order from warehouse B costs only 180. Since both warehouses can meet the promised delivery date, the OMS chooses warehouse B because it provides the same customer experience at a lower operational cost. This doesn't mean the OMS always chooses the cheapest option. It follows the retailer's configured business rules and selects the option that offers the best balance between customer satisfaction and business efficiency. For a retailer processing thousands of orders every day, even small savings on each shipment can make a significant difference over time. That's why an OMS doesn't just think about fulfilling orders, it also helps businesses operate more efficiently. So far, we have been looking at a single product order, but in the real world, customers often purchase multiple products in the same order. Let's continue Arya's story. This time, Arya orders a pair of running shoes and a smartwatch in a single order. When the OMS checks inventory, it finds that the running shoes are available in warehouse A while the smartwatch is available in warehouse B. Now the situation becomes more interesting. The OMS has multiple ways to fulfill this order. It can ship both products separately so Arya receives them as quickly as possible. It can wait until both products are available at a single location and send them together. Or, depending on the retailer's business rules, it can transfer inventory between locations before fulfillment. The right decision depends on the retailer's priorities. Some businesses focus on faster delivery, others focus on reducing shipping costs. Some prefer delivering everything in a single package to provide a better customer experience. The OMS evaluates all these possibilities and chooses the fulfillment strategy that best matches the retailer's business objectives. This is why the same customer order can be fulfilled differently by different retailers. Once an order is received, the OMS first validates it to ensure all the required information is available. After successful validation, it checks inventory to identify the locations where the product is available. It then evaluates the retailer's business rules, considering factors such as customer commitment, inventory availability, operational constraints, and business priorities. Based on these rules, the OMS selects the most appropriate fulfillment location. Once the location is finalized, it reserves the required inventory to prevent it from being allocated to another order. Finally, the OMS releases the order to the Warehouse Management System or WMS, where warehouse operations such as picking, packing, and shipping begin. The OMS does not perform warehouse activities itself. Its responsibility is to make the right business decisions and ensure the order reaches the right warehouse with the right fulfillment strategy. That's why we say an OMS thinks like a business manager rather than just an order processing system. We have now seen how an OMS evaluates every order before releasing it for execution. But why are all these decisions so important? Let's look at the impact they create. First is better customer experience. When customers receive the right product at the promised location within the expected delivery time, then confidence in the brand increases. Next is faster delivery. By selecting the most suitable fulfillment location, the OMS reduces unnecessary delays and helps orders reach customers more quickly. Third is lower shipping cost. When multiple fulfillment locations are available, the OMS can choose the one that satisfies the customer's promise while also reducing logistic costs for the retailer. Fourth is smarter inventory usage. Instead of depending on a single warehouse, the OMS intelligently utilizes inventory across the retail network, helping avoid overstocking in one location and stock shortages in another. Finally, higher order success rate. Better decisions at the beginning of the order life cycle result in smoother execution, improved order accuracy, and a more reliable fulfillment process. This is why modern retailers rely on an OMS, not just to manage orders but to make better business decisions that benefit both the customer and the business. And that's a wrap for episode 2. I hope you now have a clear understanding of how an OMS thinks before making any business decision. In the next episode, we will start learning about Manhattan Active Omni, also known as MAO. We will understand what MAO is, why retailers use it, and how it implements all the OMS concepts we have learned so far. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.